Fact, you will never enjoy true success until you learn to see the big picture. Hey, I'm Steve Diggs. This is The Big Picture. Welcome aboard. Today on the homepage, I want to talk with you a little bit about the balanced life and the need that we have to become smart, understanding our environment. You know, all security experts that I know anything of tell people to be constantly aware of their environment, their surroundings. Well, that's good advice, but I'm going to suggest that we probably would benefit ourselves if we were also aware of our emotional environment, what's going on around us at all times. In other words, how do we get smart? How do we become intuitive? How do we deal with things in the real world that a lot of people never learn how to deal with? I'll tell you what, I want to take you back a couple of hundred years and I want to share with you a parable. This took place in the United States when it was a very, very young country. There was a man, he was a cobbler, he owned a shoe store. He was a very good man. Everybody loved this cobbler. But the cobbler had gotten himself into debt. He had borrowed money from the town moneylender. And this guy was a bad guy. This guy was charging high interest rates, taking advantage of people that he loaned money to. Well, at any rate, one morning early in the day, there was a banging at the cobbler's door. The cobbler opened the door, looked out onto the street, and there stood the moneylender. The moneylender looked at him and said, "I want my money. I want it back right now." The cobbler said, "But sir, I have no way of giving it to you now. Can I have another week?" And with that, the two thugs that stood on either side of the lender stepped into the cobbler's shop, grabbed the cobbler by his shoulders, drug him out, and threw him onto the gravel street. And with that, the moneylender continued berating him in front of all the people. He said, "If you don't pay me my money today, I will take your shop, I will take your house, and I will get my money." Well, the cobbler's daughter that was still inside the shop, she could not take this any longer. So she runs out and stands between her father on the ground and the lender. And she looks at the lender and she says, "Sir, what have we got to do to appease you?" And with that, the lender leaned back and looked at her and said, "So, young lady, you want to get involved here? Very well. Here's what you can do. You can turn around right now and go back in that shop. And I will take the shop, the house, and the money. Or, if you prefer, I'll bend down here on the ground and I'll pick up a brown stone and a white stone and I will put these in my money bag. You reach inside and pull out a stone. If you pull out the white stone, then everything is forgiven, everything is forgotten, I take nothing. But if you pull out that brown stone, then I get the shop, I get the house, I'll get my money, and you, young lady, will become my bride." Well, before she could even think, the old man was bent down picking up the stones. But here's what she noticed. She noticed that instead of a brown stone and a white stone, he was actually picking up two brown stones. So thinking very quickly, the young lady looked at him and said, "Sir, I'll take you up on that offer." And very quickly, she reaches inside of his bag, pulls out one of the stones, but before anybody can see it, she lets it drop. And it instantly mingles back into all the stones on the ground. And she said, Sir, I dropped the stone. But please reach inside your bag, pull out the remaining stone, and then everybody will know the color of the stone that I took out." Well, the old moneylender knew what had happened. He had been had, but he was embarrassed to admit what he had done. And that day, he went home with no store, no money, no house, and no bride. You see, that is the way smart people get smart, by doing the right kinds of things. Hey, I'm Steve Diggs. This has been The Big Picture. See you next time.